Uh, I think we are recording. Um, episode 2. As you can see, my friend Nikki B is trying to multitask right now. Actually, I got some YouTube ads planned too. So, where you at? Tell the people where you're at.
All right, so here's what's going on. Is Joey P's making a big old fuss about me walking around because it's a beautiful day here in Colorado. So I've been working inside all day. I'm tired of sitting inside, so I'm not going to sit at my computer and stare at my computer anymore. So I'm walking around the neighborhood. I'll be in and out of video, but it's okay. Only 3 people watch this, so
yeah, exactly.
It's not a big deal.
I do want to shout out our viewers. I know my mom, my dad. They are 2 of those 3 people.
That's classic. I actually haven't said anything about it.
Maybe Katie, maybe Mama Bovine.
No, I didn't mention it to either of them. So
we got some big stuff planned for this episode. I think we may have a special guest dropping in sometime. Maybe not. We got a lot to talk about. If we want to jump right into it, I wanna ask you about your weekend.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, it was quite an interesting weekend. So, as we know, one of the to-dos was to do this half Ironman, and I actually did not.
Your video went away. Can we figure out how to get it back?
No, my phone's in my pocket right now, so you can go fuck yourself.
My God. This is going to be so poor quality, but it's about the content.
My cuss words.
It's about the content. Let's just all right. Let's hear it.
Sorry, Mr. Penavaria, for telling your son to go F himself. No. So yeah, I mean,
this is the first time I'm hearing about this too.
Yeah. So, basically, I chose to do Ironman 70.3 is a half Ironman. It is a 1.2 mile swim, followed by a 56 mile bike ride, followed by a half marathon running. I was competing in one in St. George, Utah, and chose. It's pretty customary to do the swim with a wetsuit. I chose not to use one. Which, contrary to most everybody's advice, I thought I'd be good. And to be fair, like I've done open water swims in the past, plenty without a wetsuit, and been totally fine. But water temperature was like just over 60 degrees on Saturday, which is really cold. And I guess Ironman makes you requires a wetsuit if it's 60 or below. And I think the water temperature was like 61. So didn't wear a wetsuit. Looked around me in the morning and there was like thousands of people. And I saw like one other person without a wetsuit. So that was a bad sign. Usually there's like 10 to 20 at least. And yeah, I went for the swim, and I guess my thinking was kind of like, I'll warm up as it goes along, which, makes sense. I think like I've done, plenty of like cold air runs, right? I mean, you and I ran in like 5 degrees in Colorado winter, and that was fine. It wasn't so bad. And I think with ambient air, like your body will kind of adjust, and it doesn't make you cold super fast. And I think a lot of times like your body can warm up at a quicker rate than it cools down with cold air, but water's kind of a different story just because it is covering every square inch of your body constantly. So the thought that like I would just like warm up as I went along did not really come to fruition, and I really just got colder and colder and colder. So yeah, I made it about halfway through the swim and had to be like pulled out of the water actually. Jeez. So yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Why? Did you almost drowning?
No, yeah. So That's a good question. I was, oh man, it's kind of, basically it got to the point where, like I said, like I was under the impression like, oh, it'll get better, right? So I'm like swimming, and I started, and I was like, oh, it's cold, but I'm doing okay, and it just kind of slowly got worse, and I started to just kind of like lose, like feeling and like muscle control in my like arms and legs, really, which is not good, obviously. And so, yeah, it kind of got to the point where, and I didn't even know, I thought if you touch like because they have tons of people in kayaks and boats and stuff like out there to watch all the swimmers. And I thought if you like touched anything, like a buoy or a boat or anything, you were disqualified. So it got to a point where I was like, yo, like, I don't like, I need to stop for a sec and like try to warm up. And so I stopped on like a buoy and it was fine. And then I actually was swimming up to a kayak, and this girl was like, hey, do you need a rest for a sec? And I was like, yes, actually I do. So that was something I learned. Like, you can actually do that. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
You can do that. Yeah. So
you're like hanging off the side of the kayak.
Yeah. So literally what it turned into was like, and like, I have no problem swimming, like, like a mile straight is fine. Right. And I was going like, I don't know, 50 meters, 100 meters, and like stopping at it. Like I was going like kayak to kayak basically. And I was like, this is what I'll do, I guess. And yeah, man, it just got to a point where, I kind of looked forward and I didn't see like any kayaks, and I just I wasn't even halfway done. And, it had been like over 30 minutes at this point in the water. And I was like, I'm not going to make it. So I was on a kayak and I tried to like hop up, like prop myself up on the kayak just to get like some of my body out of the water. And a guy behind me, an official, was like, hey, and he like called me over, and he was like, if you climb on a kayak like that, you're done. And I was like, well, shit, man, like I'm fucking freezing in here. And I'm just trying to warm up. And his buddy was like, dude, are you like all right, man? Like you're looking like a little blue. And I talked with them for a little bit, and I kind of looked forward, and I just was like, I'm not going to make it, which is a pretty shitty feeling. And so they pulled me out and took me in. My body temperature was like in the 80s. So it was like,
what's it normally?
Like 98.6 is.
Oh yeah. I got you. That's
like so
check your temperature.
Yeah. So like, I mean, like mild hypothermia, I think. And I was just, really cold, and I warmed up and was really disappointed. And that was basically it. It was a very disappointing and embarrassing and sad day.
All right. Well, first off, you shouldn't be embarrassed by that. That shit happens. And secondly, I remember distinctly you telling me about the wetsuit thing and me being like, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, right. Classic.
Go do it.
Exactly. It's one of those things, like, I guess looking back on it, like I was so down, on Saturday and Sunday and Monday too.
And ghosted me. You ghosted
me. Well, I took a few days away from my phone.
My text.
My phone was off. Yeah.
But I was trying to get a hold of you.
Anyway, so I just it took some time, I guess, but like reflecting on it, I mean, like, I guess I was so bummed out initially, right? Because it's like I like quit in the water, and it just feels like that felt really bad, where I was just like, man, like I felt like I like.
That's gotta be one of, because I have no doubt, like if you were experiencing some kind of cramps or anything on land, you would have 100% like pushed through it and shit. But like when you're in water, like did it, like I'm sure when you were debating on whether to stop or not, you're like, if I try and keep going, I could potentially drown. Like that's like the big difference between water and land, I think. And even like biking and like, some of these ultra marathons and stuff like that, when there's swimming involved, like there's that like death component, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're correct. And like, actually, it's kind of, it's sad that you say that, because I was actually looking up the full Ironman in St. George last night, and I read that somebody actually did die on Saturday in the water, which is
Wait, the day that you were there.
like somebody competing in the Ironman died in the water.
The same day past weekend.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So that's, yeah. So to answer your question, I guess, and they didn't provide any details or anything, but the point being, like, yes, I think that's correct. And that was kind of the thoughts, I guess, running through my head, right? Is like, it's like, yeah, I could keep going and pushing, and really, like, it wasn't like, painful or anything like that. It was just this overwhelming feeling of like, I don't feel like I'm going to make it all the way. And I'm looking ahead of me, and there's no kayaks or anything there. And I'm like, what happens if I, like you said, like, what happens if I, cramp up and I can't move, and I'm just like sinking.
How deep, right? How deep is that shit? It's a big ass lake, right?
Sure. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that definitely goes through your head. Now, is that likely? Like, I don't think that's terribly likely to happen, but also, like,
I mean, you just said someone
it's just not
died.
That's true. That's
true,
right? So yeah, so not
probably
not
like
worth it.
That's like 500 people maybe that competed, so like 1 in 500.
Like 2,000, 2,500, but
I mean, still
close enough, I guess.
That's not odds that I want to take when I'm doing anything.
No. And so, so like, reflecting on it, like, I initially think I felt really bad about just quitting, and I felt like I quit, on myself. And like, there was so many people there, like Katie, my girlfriend, went, and my little sister went, and Katie's friend went, and my good friend Jake went, and his mom's there doing it, and his sister's there, like, there's so many people there, like, supporting me and others. And, like, so I felt horrible that I quit in that, circumstance. And, even if it was just myself, like, that hurt, obviously. But reflecting, it was like, at the end of the day, there wasn't really much to be done there, and I think the disappointment for myself lies more in my lack of preparation and lack of foresight to see, like, to see that was a possibility.
And when you say lack of preparation, you mean like day of, like, because you were swimming,
having a wetsuit.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what I mean.
Or like, also you got a bike the day before, like.
Yeah, but the bike wasn't a problem. I was all good with that. I would have been fine.
I know, but I'm saying, like, as a whole, your planning was a little, besides the actual training, like, you were definitely trained for it, but the planning, logistics of everything was kind of last minute, wasn't it?
Sure, but the answer to every logistical question was like, the worst thing that happens on a bike is, like, you get a flat tire, or something happens with the bike, and, like, God forbid you crash or something, right? But, like, that happens, and that would be an accident, and, like, you get a flat tire, the worst thing that happens is you have to wait, 30 minutes, an hour for somebody to help you fix it. I guess what I'm saying is, like, the lack of foresight to see, like, oh, I don't, like, not having a wetsuit, in the cold water, there's a possibility that, like, my body could get really cold and my core temperature could drop to a point where I literally can't do this anymore. And if I can't complete the swim, I can't do the race. And so that's more like where the disappointment lies, is like not thinking that through enough of, like, okay, do I need a wetsuit? Like, maybe not, but, like, the thing is, if I don't have a wetsuit and something goes wrong, like it did, I can't finish the race. And that's, like, worst case scenario, safe, not talking about dying or anything. Right. And so it's like the fact that I didn't consider that is disappointing, and a lesson for sure. So big bummer.
It is bummer, but like you said, important thing, keep it in perspective. You're safe, you're healthy. You guys made it back to Utah, or back to Denver, all good. How did Tracy do? Jake's mom.
She did good, man. She finished. So, and that was, like, again, like you just
she
talked
do a
about.
Full one?
No, she did the half as well.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, so it was kind of it was crazy. I actually, and this is like I think some growth on my part too, like getting out of, so I got pulled out of the water and I'm boated to the shore. And when this is how long I was in the water too, to give you perspective, but I didn't even make it halfway. And as I was walking out, I heard the announcer announce like Tracy coming out of the water, which, like is hard to hear because I want to be there too. But also like, there was like I was happy for her, right? And I'm like, oh, well, she's good, and now she's going to get through it all and all that. And, I think that's like growth for me for sure. I mean, I think it's hard to be happy for people when you're miserable. So at least it is for me. I don't know if it is for everybody, but
true. No, I think that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
But you're probably better than most people at it, actually. Just from stuff that we talked about last time and the things that we try and do, and I know that you're good at and stuff and putting people before you. Yeah, dude, I mean, you'll be fine. Like I said, there's going to be other races. You learn your lesson for the wetsuits. And I learned a lesson from this too, from observing. Because, I mean, we're similar types, like and we fucking read all the Goggins shit and stuff. And, I could definitely see myself trying to do some shit like that too. But I'm, I will, if I ever do one, which is on my list, which is a good transition to, remember what we had, the actionable items from last time?
I sure do. What'd you sign up for? Here, let me one quick thing to put a bow on this, and then we can move on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think there's a difference between like being hard and challenging yourself and like just being stupid or unprepared. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so like you can be like, oh, I'm not going to train for this, and I'm just going to go do this race, and it's like, I guess that's cool and everything, if you had like 1 week's notice, like Goggins did for that 100-mile race, the first one that he did. But like, I think Goggins would be the first guy to tell you, if he had 6 months to train for an event, he's not going to just sit around and wait for the event to come to show how hard he is. Like, that's stupid. He's going to go train as hard as he can for 6 months and do his best in that race. And like it, for me, I just confuse those two. Where like, I mean, I even remember, the morning of the race, I'm like standing around, I'm looking around, and like nobody's in a wetsuit, and instead of thinking like, oh, like maybe I should scramble right now and try to find a wetsuit in the next 45 minutes, like instead of thinking that, in my head, I'm like, oh, these, not like they're pussies. I mean, they're all doing half Ironman. I wasn't saying that, but
motherfuckers.
but in my head, I was like, oh, I'm going to come out of the water and like, I'm harder than all these people because they're all wearing wetsuits. And it's like, no, they're prepared and I'm not, and like, and that's really all it was, and like, there was people who didn't have a wetsuit who completed the swim too. So it's like, I'm, not shit, right? It's just like stupid. And so there's a difference there is the point, I think. And I think it's, wisdom, knowing the difference. So learned a valuable lesson, already signed up for another one. So we'll be fine.
Which one?
So, classic, just, when it rains, it pours. I actually signed up for, the half Ironman in Oregon, bought plane flights, the whole 9 yards, and then realized that I have a friend's wedding that weekend as well. So still working on getting my money back for that registration. Thanks, Ironman. But I am working on getting my way into the Ironman 70.3 in Boulder. So it's August 7th. You might half Ironman.
Half.
So
70.3. What's that mean?
That's the total mileage. That's a half.
Oh,
and full is 140.6. Yeah.
I got you.
So yeah, if you ever see cars with those stickers on it that say 70.3 or 140.6, that's what that means. But
what's the dates for the Boulder one?
It's August 7th. So I'm working through. I have that entry through the foundation that I think can get me in. So I'm just, because it's sold out and everything. So I'm just waiting to see if that'll come through, and then got 13 weeks to train starting Monday. So I'm going to get after it. But
well, good
anyway,
shit.
Yeah,
good
let's move
shit.
on. What your task was to sign up for something. So
I
what do
did.
you got?
I signed up for the LA Marathon.
Hey,
November 7th.
That's sick as hell. You know,
November
Lindsay's thinking
7th.
about doing that one. I should tell her that
Tell
you're
her
in
to
it.
come out. Tell her to come out. You
Yeah.
guys got a place to stay. You guys can all come out. You should sign up for it too.
I think I'll be your support crew for that one. I don't know. I'm good. I actually.
All right, you do owe me one. You owe me a support crew.
Yeah, totally. So I'll come get you. I actually, quick side note, but I also got rejected from the Boston Marathon. Big bummer.
I thought you got accepted.
No, I signed up for it and my time wasn't good enough. They're like,
what?
They accepted 7 minutes and 47 seconds under the qualifying standard, which is like unheard of, you know, because the field size was so small.
It was a qualifying standard of like 2 hours and 50 minutes or some shit like that.
For my age bracket, yeah, you had to run a 2:52:13 or better to get in, and I ran a 2:52:47.
And wait, say those times again.
So I was 30 seconds too slow. Oh. Yeah, but you know, it's not like I can apply for next year's in April. My time will still stay.
With that time. I got you.
Yeah. So it's all good. I'll for sure get into that.
You'll probably, and you said they did this. They cut it down because the field size is smaller.
Yeah. So they 10,000 less people, and it's 2 years worth of applicants because they didn't have it in 2020. So, you know, probably record number of applications, smaller field size, and so that's why a record time.
And you were still only
times.
30 seconds off.
Yeah, so pretty close. So I'll be good next year, but yeah. So when it rains, it pours. I literally got that news like I think on Monday when we got back. It was just, you know,
get it all out the way.
Yeah. So, but I say that to say that I was running a marathon in October. Now I'm not. So maybe I don't know, but I'd rather go support you. I think that'd be more fun.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I signed up. I probably couldn't afford it right now, but I just did it.
Good. That's what you got to do.
That's the biggest hurdle for me is the paying money, because I mean, you know, we've done marathons on our own before, and I ran the whatever one last year, the LA trail last year for free. But
yeah, but it's different. It's just different.
It's different,
man.
Yeah. And this gives me like we talked about last time, a goal. So I've been I got a couple 5-mile runs in last few days. If you check my Strava, I haven't figured out an exact plan yet to follow. But I know I just got to pick up my running, so that's been in the front of my mind. So I'm starting to do some more runs in the mornings and get back on that stuff. But I feel pretty good. I did like a 3-mile one with 7:30 pace the other day, 7:28, something like that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have something to look forward to. Hopefully nothing comes up. That's what happened with the Austin Marathon, is I signed up for it and then something came up last minute with work that I just couldn't make it. But November should be a pretty slow month, so that should be good. But
I love it. So what's do you have any goals in mind, or what do you think?
I want to break 4 hours. I think would be. You think that's?
Oh, you can do that easy. You should do 3:30 at the least.
3:30. All right. I figured you were gonna say that.
Yeah, 4 hours is child's play.
I mean, we've done these ones by ourselves, and I've never broken 4 hours. So.
Yeah, but you didn't train at all.
That's true. Yeah.
When it did it. True. So yeah, I think you could do 3:30. I think that'd be great. And I think you're smart to. I think most people jump into a training plan without training a bunch, and you kind of have to like train for the training plan. You know, like, I mean, you probably want to get comfortable being like 20, 30 miles a week before you jump into
Yeah, I
any
was about
sort
to
of
say,
training frame.
what is a good number miles per week? I feel like that's something that I could, like you just said, train before the training program. You
Yeah,
think
I think if
20 or
you could,
30?
I think 30. If you could
30?
kind of, if you're doing it in November, you could get on a 16-week program starting in July. So that gives you, 2 months from now to kind of slowly ramp it up. And yeah, it would get to like 25, 30 with varying distances, like maybe one of those is like a 10-mile run, and
Yeah.
some are like maybe faster, like 3-4
Yeah,
mile runs.
I was thinking of just doing like just trying to get total miles before I kind of have a set plan.
Yeah,
just because I feel like that's easier, because then I could, if I have a busy week or something, I get a long one in on the weekend or something like that. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about that. So, and
I love it.
And this, the actionable item is what made me do it, because I didn't want to get on here and be like, yeah, I didn't do it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty soft of you.
I appreciate that. What was yours? I actually wrote it down. I'm going to look.
I got one of two. I completed the YouTube page. I made
it. You did.
As you can
we
see,
posted. Yes.
So I did one of two. Not great, but
what was the other one?
The Ironman. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't. You're already signed up for that. That wasn't. I mean, yeah, I guess it took some action, but
it sure did when I didn't do any action. 50%. Yeah, so 50%. I'm at a 50% success rate right now, but it'll get better.
When did you turn your phone back on after those couple of days?
So, dude, here's basically how it went. I mean, look, it's not like a marathon or something where like you just drop out and you can literally just like walk out and leave, for an Ironman, you have to like check your bike in. That's at one place. You have to like check your running stuff in. That's at another place, and this one was unique because like the swimming start and where the bike started was like 10 miles from where the running portion starts. So like they're like, yeah, dude, we'll like shuttle, all your shit over. And so they, I had all my stuff like in bags and my bike, and I had my running bag, and, you have to go like collect all that at the end. And it's just like, it's kind of like a exclamation mark on a really shitty day, here was literally the cherry on top though. And a literal cherry. Listen to this. So I had a Gatorade in my bike cup holder, right? Yeah. And it's like obviously full because I'm going to drink it when I go on the bike. And I get my bike back and the Gatorade's still in the cup holder, but it's empty. Somebody just drank my Gatorade. What a dick.
Yo, how pissed would you have been if you got to your bike and it was just like you're fucking dead tired thinking about this Gatorade, and then you get to your bike and that shit's dead empty.
No, I don't think anybody would do that. I think it was literally like, it was probably like the 16-year-old kid that was like, this dude quit anyway, so I'm just going to drink his Gatorade.
That's fucked.
Yeah. So that was kind of like a slap in the face where I was like, damn, I don't have my Gatorade. So, but yeah, man. So it is like, it's one of those where you gotta like get all your stuff and bring it back. And it's kind of just, it's a pain, and but yeah, man, I don't even know how we got on the topic of.
No, I asked how long did you keep your phone off?
Oh, that's right. Oh, so what I was saying is, sorry, you know me, I kind of go in different directions, but I had my phone in like one of those bags. It was just like in the bag that was with my bike or something. And I didn't even go through those bags until like 2 days after I got back, or a day and a half or whatever. So, the race on Saturday, my phone was in there. I just didn't, obviously want to really look at it or anything. So yeah, I left it in there on Sunday and Monday. And then I think I checked it like Monday night or Tuesday sometime. So,
well, I give you props on that, man. That's I could never go fucking 5 hours without checking my phone.
Yeah, Katie was saying that too, and it's like I don't know, maybe it's just I guess it doesn't seem like much of a sacrifice when you're like dejected and you don't want to talk to anybody at all. So
yeah.
and but yeah.
So I was, obviously I learned about it through Lindsay and stuff, and just trying to think of something to, write you after you, miss my calls and stuff like that. So, there's one of two options that I could go. It was one of like the more like sincere route. Man, like I think there's gonna be a next one, blah blah blah, something like that. Like you'll be all good. Like don't worry about it. And the other route was I was gonna be like, "Yo, did you forget your wetsuit or some shit?" And more of that route. I ended up going the first route because I know how much this means to you. But I'm just curious if you would have opened your phone and saw that, what would you have thought?
I would not have been happy for sure. Like that, you made a good choice, definitely. Yeah, that'd be like certain people. I'd be like, I'm probably never talking to you again. You obviously, I wouldn't do that to you, but I would be like, is this guy kidding me?
Good thing I made the right choice.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. Like now,
I'm in a place.
I feel like you're over it now, kind of. If you've been in good spirits.
Yeah, I'm good. There's no.
I mean, we're almost a full week. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No use. Just ruminating on it, and
yeah, it's a lesson. We'll look back and laugh on it.
Learn the lesson and moving on already. So I'm good.
I did
actually really excited about what's to come and all that. So
yeah, I did read. I guess this is becoming a segment. What did we call it last time? The Joey P. Gems or something like that from the.
I think you're making that up, but we'll call it Joey P. Gems. Here we go. Joey P's Gems.
No, you said that. I promise you. I can go back and look. But
right.
That book, the same book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, it literally has a whole chapter on. It says the chapter is called Famous Failures, and it's just it's like people after people, like these people that like Phil Knight, Steve Jobs, and list all their failures before they got to where they were and where everyone knew, where everyone sees the success and stuff like that. So it's just it's interesting. I mean, everyone has failures, everyone has, and it's about how, like, kind of a Coach Smart thing, but it's about how you respond, how you look at it, and like also no one likes a pity party.
No, totally.
So
there's a great quote. I'm gonna paraphrase it, but it's like you think like your pain is like unparalleled in the history of the world, and then you read, and it's like the point being that just like I think self-help books and all that stuff are great, and you can learn a lot from those, sure, but you can also learn so much from just reading people's stories, and you mentioned some there, but like one of the consistencies I think that you read when you read about anybody or watch, if it's a documentary or whatever, is like everybody F's up and has failures. And I actually thought, and again, I sound like a Goggins fucking party boy or something, but I thought a lot about him and his like breaking the pull-up record attempt, and like the first time he tried to do that, he was on like Good Morning America, and he like failed miserably, like didn't even get close, and then he tried again like 3 months later and still didn't get it. And then he, I think a couple months later again, finally got it, and it's like, I kind of thought about that. I was like, shit, at least I wasn't on Good Morning America. Or I mean, it's like everybody goes through it, and I don't think it's like I for a little bit, I kept telling him, saying, I heard it in my head. I was like, I just feel like such a failure, and I was like, and I was able to separate that where it's like, I'm not a failure. It's like I failed. And those are very different, and I, was able to kind of, able to distance myself a little bit from that thought. And, I mean, I think that's important. I think, I've read like, that's kind of one of the big differences between optimists and pessimists is like pessimists prescribe failure to, like personal maladies, and like, instead of I failed this time, it's I am a failure,
Yeah.
Which is a very important distinction. So,
I mean, that goes with everything. You can't personalize anything, or you can't what am I looking for? Everything, like from the New Earth and all those books that we read. You can't I'm blanking on the word. What is it?
What are you trying to say here? I don't know.
Like you're saying, like what you just said. You can't.
Are you cracking under the podcast pressure, man?
I think so. It's the first podcast pressure. It's hitting me. What you
identify.
Can't identify as anything. You can't identify. Yes, thank you for the help. You can't identify with any of that stuff. So yeah, exactly what you just said. If you're thinking, which sounds like you were able to do, you said, at first you were thinking I'm such a failure, but then you're like, no, you have to separate yourself from that. Like you're not that. That's not you.
And to be clear, like I don't know that was ever my thought. I think it was I feel like a failure, which I think that's different as well from I'm such a failure. Like I don't know that. Yeah, I think there's levels to each of those, and they're difficult thoughts to wrestle with. But yeah, I'd be remiss to not mention, just like the support and of the people that were around me as well, right? Like I kind of was thinking, like, you always see in movies, or maybe you see it in real life, I don't know, like the parent, right, who their kid F's up, like let's say, and it's a minor thing, like they miss a free throw in basketball and they're like screaming at them and what are you doing, and you fucked up, and this, and I was thinking, like, I mean, I'm a 28-year-old man, and I was like, if somebody around me was doing that to me on Saturday and was like, you couldn't even make it through the water, like, you pussy, and like this, like, that would really, really hurt me, and like, and so, not to get all, we don't need to get all deep on raising children or anything, but like, I just think about, the severe impact that could have on somebody. And, luckily I had people all around me who were just, nothing but supportive and understanding. And really that meant the world, and that kind of, I feel like I've kind of been me this whole time, but that really is kind of what brought me through it.
Yeah, so, no doubt you have a great support system. Shout out Lindsay, shout out KT,
shout out KT, shout out Gene,
shout out Jake, shout out Mama Bovey. Yeah, they're all great people. But no, that brings up a good point about how some people are brought up in sports and any kind of thing, and then if you put people down while they're already down, it's compounding, and it's not helpful. But I mean, but it also, so like, how do you think like a guy like Tiger Woods, like when he went through that shit, or like how people like these very strict parents and stuff, where it's like, I'm sure he got reprimanded and just ripped apart if he ever did some shit like that. Like, how do you think people get through that and then also become like super successful at what they do?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's like, have you ever seen the movie Whiplash?
No.
Oh man, it's a dime. It's a dime of a movie, and maybe that should be on your list of to-dos for next time, because it's it's really, really good. But this movie's about this kid. Miles Teller plays him, and he's like, all he wants to do is play drums and like be a great drummer, and he's at this art school, musical school, and the teacher is like, legendary teacher and world renowned or whatever. But he's a dick, he is absolutely, I mean, the things he says are unforgivable. He's like, I bet that's why mommy left you, faggot, like stuff like that. So like kids, like, a 16, 17-year-old kid. Right. And, one point he makes at the end of the movie, he's talking about this famous drummer, Charlie Parker, and how when Charlie Parker was coming up, he was playing in a guy's band, and this dude threw a cymbal at his head because he messed up. And he's like, Charlie Parker wouldn't be Charlie Parker if no one threw a cymbal at his head, and he's like, so his theory of greatness and of inspiring greatness in others is like pushing them where they can't go themselves, but through fear, basically, and he's like, so that's like his theory. And, it makes me think a lot, because it is like, I'm like, man, like, is he right? Because like Tiger Woods is a great example where like the dude's dad was a complete dick, didn't let him do anything except play golf, but it worked. And I think it can be true, but what I would say too, to kind of counter that point is like, you don't see all the people who don't make it from that environment, so we see like Tiger Woods, or Charlie Parker or whatever, but you don't see like, the thousands, tens, millions, whatever, that grew up in that environment, cracked, and now are all effed up, and have trauma and issues and are just dealing with that to try to be, a normal person, let alone a great fill in the blank.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd say Tiger's a normal person and that he doesn't have
no.
issues.
Yeah. Oh, he is. Dude, that's the thing. Like, it obviously took its toll on him in many ways, and if you, like, I watched the documentary on him on HBO, it was great, but it didn't really tell the whole story, like, of how jacked up he really was, honestly. I mean, and maybe still is, and there was a lot of issues there, I think. So, and still is, but the point being, like, he's also probably the best golfer that ever lived. So, there's something there, I guess, but
when it comes to performance, I guess you kind of reach a point where that stuff, the reprimanding and stuff almost probably becomes like numb to you, and then it's just about the work, maybe. I don't know. But I know I would I didn't really take hard coaching that well when I was younger, but then I also had, my mom and stuff was always like, the most uplifting, and my parents never like yelled at me for doing something wrong.
Shout out Mrs. Penavaria, listener number one.
Yeah, so maybe they should have been more disciplined. No, just I wanted that. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's what I'd kind of say is like, I believe that true love is like being very demanding, like, I don't think just like letting your kid slide, I don't think that does any good for anybody. Yeah. And what I would say is that, like, you can be demanding without being like demeaning. And there's a fine line there where you can demand high standards through like a lens of love and not fear. We're like, the last thing I would ever want from like my kids or kids I coach or kids I teach or whatever is for them to be like scared of me, but like I want them to know I care about them, and I want what's best for them. And sometimes they're not going to like me or understand fully what I'm doing, but I never want it to be, like mean spirited or harsh or maybe not. I guess it can be harsh, but excuse me. But thank you. But yeah, so I guess that's what I would say is like, filtering every action, decision, all that through a lens of love and not fear-driven motivation or.
No, I agree. There's a balance that you have to strike, and I guess this is we're talking about how we're going to raise our kids on this episode. That's where this one
that's where it's going. They'd always, I love that they take their own They take their own directions, which is great.
It's going, but I actually do find myself, thinking a lot about how I am going to raise my kids and how I want to raise my kids, and thinking about my experiences and, what I would do different or, what I would do the same and things like that. But, I do from, my job, from the people that I've been around and, the people that I look up to and stuff like that, I do put a huge value on discipline, I think. And I think totally. That's, but, I've never been in the position where, I have someone to like look after the whole time, you know what I mean? Because when you're in, I feel like this is, something that every person in that position of power maybe struggles with, is like when you're enforcing discipline, you have to be disciplined yourself, because then if not,
100%,
you're a hypocrite. So it's like almost a battle of, if I'm going to say this thing, like I gotta be doing it, similar, and like the stuff that I say I'm going to do, I have to do, you know what I mean? So, building that, that discipline within your own life first before kind of, showing that. And then I always have been a believer in, being more of like, leading by example other than just saying things. And, that's how I always, followed people as well, is I followed by example, rather than just someone, saying something. So, hopefully, when I do have kids way down the line, sorry, Mom, you're not going to be a grandma anytime soon. Yeah, I will. I think it's important to install some type of, discipline system where, it's more about just developing it within themselves than, being on like my regimen. I just want them to be able to, stick to something that they say they're going to do. And, because everything, I mean, discipline is freedom, basically. Everyone, Jocko Willing, we all know that. So, and that's what I struggle with, on some of the things that my goals and everything like that, is just staying disciplined. But I do know, like we said in the past, like, I feel like I know the right way to do it. I know that discipline is the way to go. But, if I have a plan and I'm, something comes up, or, I'm really tired or some shit, I don't want to wake up for, whatever I planned out doing, that's where, you got to think back to those types of things, and just gotta fucking find a way to stay disciplined. But that's the constant struggle, I feel like. But I think you do a pretty good job of that with
I think,
training and stuff like that.
Yeah, this kind of gets to something I actually wanted to talk about today, which I'll circle to in just a sec. We can, I guess, put a bow. I'll be the bow tying guy in the podcast, and I'll put bows on whatever we're chatting about. But
on the parental guidance.
Yeah, like I guess and here we are, a bunch of 20-some-year-old dudes chatting about kids. What the fuck do we know, right? But I think the message to your kids should just be something along the lines of like, I don't care what you do, but just do it really, really well, and like do the best you can to learn about it and improve with it and all that, and just see what happens. And if you decide that you don't like it, that's fine, but like give it your best and see what happens, and like nobody really told me that, growing up. And I just wish somebody did, like where it's like, look, like, dude, if you want to play guitar, man, go for it, but, work, you're going to have to work for 5 weekends to buy your guitar, see how much you really want to play. You know what I mean? And then when you work the 5 weeks and you get it, now you have some ownership in there. And then it's like, okay, well, like now let's be really great at guitar, and you're probably not going to like it at times. It's really hard to learn new skills. We got to give it 3 months of practicing. Okay. And maybe as like a parent, you're like, I'll do it with you, and like, I just think like that general skill of learning skills, that general skill of improving and learning new things is so important, and that general curiosity. And so like, I just conveying that point.
Yeah. And conveying the point that the 10,000 hours rule or whatever it is, like I never really read into it, but like, I like am seeing that like more like in order to become great at anything, I don't think you as a kid can fully understand how much time it takes. And like, cause relative to your life, like you're 16, 17 years old, or whatever, even younger than that. And you're thinking like, oh, a whole year to do something like, but like in the whole grand scheme of things, a year is nothing compared to like your whole life. It's a short period of time. So like when someone says like, it's actually going to take 5-10 years to become great at something, you can't really pick something up and then it doesn't happen overnight. And like that's like something that I think I've struggled with when I was trying to pick up new things, or still do, honestly. And just like, it's you have to look, it's about putting in perspective to like your whole life. And like when you look at people who are great at something, and this is almost cliche, but like they put the time in, and that's like 10-15 years, like that's a long motherfucking time, compared to something that I've been doing for a 1 year that I think that I've been putting a lot of time towards. So I think that's important to let your kids know or whatever, and just be like, it's not gonna come overnight, it's not gonna come the next year or whatever. It just has to be consistent work over a long period of time. That's I think we talked about it last time, but greatness is boring, right? Did we talk about that?
Maybe I don't really remember.
That was a quote. Yeah, quote that I think someone told me, but they heard it from Greg Popovich.
Which I agree. And I we on the way back from Utah, we were listening to Stephen Pressfield, who is an author he was on Tim Ferriss's podcast, and it was I've read a few of his things. He wrote like this great book called The War of Art. He's written a lot of fiction, like The Legend of Bagger Vance was his first hits. And then he's written, some classical fiction, like historical fiction based in like the Roman Empire, stuff like that. So, but he's a great author. And it took him like 29 years, I think, to get published. Like he was like working odd jobs and writing and, no luck for like literally 28 or 29 years. And he said something that really stuck with me that I like, and that I think needs to be echoed, where he just said, like, everybody says like life is short, and life is so short. And he's like, but actually like life is really long, and like you can do like a lot of things. And, here's this guy, I was just thinking about his life, and like he's, took 30 years to get published, right? So he's in his late 40s, 50s. And he's just like a trucker, and he's doing all these different odd jobs. And, now he's recognized for what he's always been, which is this great author. And it's a pretty cool story. And I think he's just got such an enlightened perspective because of that, where, like I said, you always hear about all these, mid 20-year-old millionaire, billionaire, startup genius, all this stuff. And, but you don't really hear about like this 50-year-old guy just, started his first business, and, it's something he's always wanted to do. And I guess I'm just saying, like, there's always, there always is that possibility. And there is just time, to like do what you're feeling.
Oh yeah. I mean, my guy, Gary V, always, something that's
he's big on that too, which
he's
like
huge
that.
on that. I think because he even mentioned it. I listened to something he said today. He's like his thing that got him off the ground was that wine library thing, and he said he recorded the first episode of that wine library when he was 30 years old. So he's a big proponent of try a bunch of things out, figure out what you love to do, and then you can kind of take it from there, even and you have time especially your early 20s or whatever, 19 teens, whatever, people think like they got to figure shit out right away. But no, it's more about, putting your all into different things and then figuring out, what works and kind of, but you never feel like it's too late. I feel like that's what he's trying to push. You're kind of breaking in and out. Are you trying to talk right now, or was that just you walking, or what?
Oh shit! No, sorry. Yeah, I'm walking. I'm right by my apartment. Here, let me hook up to my Wi-Fi real quick.
We're gonna get a picture. We're gonna get
I'll
video.
get you guys a picture. So I can go one sec.
Special treat. We're gonna cut to an ad. Who sponsors us?
Trojan.
Trojan.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Everybody, we don't do that.
Rogaine.
Rogaine. Yeah, Rogaine and Old Spice for men. Yeah, no, I think I guess we could kind of end on this. I think this is probably a good spot to finish. What's up?
All right, when we get to see you, we got to end.
Can I go like this? Is that better? Hey.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where it's like sorry, I'm getting a little distracted with all these things around me. Like you do have time and you can do whatever you want, but you have to do something, and you kind of said like putting your best into whatever you're doing. And I agree. I think that is a trap I kind of fall into where, I'll have all these ideas. And then the action is sometimes missing where I'm like, I just have to do something, and let's just move in this direction. And then we can always change course. But I think that was a good point. And I agree, my brother.
Well, good shit. We teased the guest, but he flaked, so we're still getting getting used to this stuff. So maybe we'll have to we'll get him in sometime soon. We're not gonna tell you who it is, but it'll be a treat for sure. I think it was a little he was blindsided by it too. What did you talk to him about?
It's a last second invite. He's not a flaky guy. He's going to be a very great guest. I think he might poke some fun at our podcast, though. I'm kind of 100% interested to see. I think he's going to be a little bit of a jokester. So we're going to have to see what happens with him.
I'm excited though. It'll be the first guest.
Yeah. So should be good, man. But
to wrap it up, let's get some actionable items.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. So we'll probably plan on doing this again, like either late this weekend or Monday.
Yeah, or whenever next week.
Okay. All right. You want to do what? 2 each?
I did one last time, and that was, it was good.
Yours was kind of a big one, though. So
yeah, it took a lot, and I don't think I would have done it if we didn't make it as an actionable item.
All right, I will. Here's what I got for you. Here's my 2. I'm gonna write them down too, so I remember. I am going to get my first week of my Ironman 70.3 training planned. So that'll be starting on Monday. So Ironman week 1. And then I'm going to, right now, I just go with Katie to like 24-hour fitness on like can you still hear me? All right.
Yeah.
On like a buddy pass. So like I can only go when she goes to use their pool. Like I have another gym membership, but I go to 24 to use the pool. But I need to go more to because she can't go, and I don't want to inconvenience her, but because she can't go is like a terrible excuse not to swim, right? So I'm going to go to 24 before next time and get a membership, 24-hour fitness. Got
it. So 24 out. Are you going to keep your other membership?
That's a good question. I might. I don't know. It's very convenient. It's right next to my apartment. So very
convenient. Okay, so mine, I'm gonna finish this week strong, and I'm looking how many miles I've done right now. let's see. I did a 3-mile one yesterday. Wait, what's today? The 5th? Today the 5th or the 4th?
Joe, we're losing listeners here. Come on, man.
I mean, we don't have any to start. So what is today? The 6th? Yeah, it's the 6th. So this is 2 days ago. I did a 3-mile run, and 2 days before that, I did a 5-mile run. So I got 8 miles this week right now. I want to finish this week, so ending on Sunday, and it's tracked Strava.
15.
So let's do okay. I was gonna say 20.
Do 15. You don't need to get it all this week.
I got today. I got tomorrow.
All right.
I got
20,
Saturday,
puta. It's all good. Let's go.
Saturday and Sunday.
All right. So 20 miles. So you have.
I have 8. I got 12 more miles. That's easy.
Okay. So 12
I
more.
could do 3 more miles the next 4 days. That'd be
Okay.
easy. But I'm gonna split it up and do some a bigger. I think I'm gonna do a 6-mile one of these days. So
okay.
That'll make me do it too. That'll be good.
Hey, here's
and
oh wait, go on.
I have one more actionable item, and I think this could be for both of us too. Let's both come up with something to make this podcast or whatever. We shouldn't even call it a podcast. This YouTube series, one little tiny thing better. So mine is I'm gonna figure out how to make the Zoom boxes come up at the same time.
Okay. I don't even know what that means, but
so right now, because I went back and watched the other one, it flips back and forth between me and you. But there's ways. I know there's ways where you can make it to where it's side by side.
All right. I'm gonna just try Zoom boxes.
Side by side.
All right. Boxes. Well, I guess in that case, I'll come up with a theme song.
Boom. That's what we need. I was trying to do some kind of intro or something.
I'll get it. Don't worry. You've seen my YouTube videos. You know how it goes.
We're just doing the same one as your YouTube videos.
Oh, it's good. Well, I'm gonna make it though. It's gonna be custom for this.
It's gonna be a beatbox.
It's just gonna be
all right. Let me know if you need any sound bites from me.
I might. Yeah. It's Joey P. Yeah. All right, I'll get that done. So I got 3. All right, here's the deal. If you
I got 2 and you got 3.
All right. You got to get we need at least 24-hour notice for the pod. And if you don't, just for your action items, I'm saying like I can't be like, yo, I guess we could do that. But then you
what do you mean? No, this is just if we get back on next time and we see if we did them.
I know, but there's got to be a little bit of accountability. So here's what I'm saying. If you don't do your action items,
accountability is you get back on here and you look like an idiot if you didn't do it.
Yeah, but dude, you look like an idiot.
It worked for me.
I'm not scared of that. All right, how about this? Listen. You got to donate $20 to a charity if you don't do your stuff.
Charity being the other person's ice cream fund.
If you want to donate to the Nikki B Tonight Dough Fund, that's fine. But I'm more.
I won't.
$20
be happening for me. I'm gonna be able to get my shit done.
Well, I know you're gonna do something and forget about it, and I'm just putting that on there. So it's out in the world now. It's $20, made out to whatever you want to make it out to. Send it to your little sister and tell her to go have fun. But you got to you got to get $20 goes out of your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my dog. Doing that, but I can do that.
Well, then just do your
20,
stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm going to side by side Zoom, and 20 miles by Sunday. Wait, when do I have that by? By the next pod? No.
End of the week.
It's got to be
end of the week.
End of the week. Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Sunday the new week. We're just doing Sunday as.
Yeah, your week start on Monday. Don't overthink it. All right, my dog. Well, I got a shower and stuff. I got a hot date tonight, so.
All right, tell KT I said what up.
It's actually my new friend, Roger.
Oh, Roger.
Nah, just kidding. I will. All right, dude. Well, successful episode number 2, and I'm excited for number 3.
Let's get it.
Mr. and Mrs. Penavaria, thank you guys. Love you. Bye.
Love you, bro.
Love you too. Later.
Later.